Hey, hi everyone. Thank you for joining today. We are gonna be speaking about the state of Azure Managed Redis migrations and what comes next. This is something that I'm really, passionate about. It's happening right now, as everyone, most of you will know that it's happening. Pretty much, coming from Azure Redis to the new service Azure Managed Redis. My name is Roberto Perez. I'm a head of GTM here at Eden and Microsoft MVP. So right now, what are the options that customers have at the moment? Well, first one, Microsoft created or just launched the AMR migration tooling. It's out there. I consider it as a very fast path for simpler environments. It will be able to help you out with the whole transition. It's one directional. There gonna be some rollback mechanisms, but I will show you a little bit later about the Microsoft Learn page of some limitations. We're gonna be deep diving in those. The second path is do-it-yourself migration. So this is we're talking about scripts, manual scripts that you may have, your team may have done through the years. It's using tooling like RiotX, for example. So that's the second option. Of course, you have full control, but there is significant engineering effort. You need to learn about the tool if you're using a tool. And of course, there are different things that you need to consider, right? Third path is using what we call at Eden, an application-aware modernization platform that is not only handling the migration option, but it's also helping you modernize your whole infrastructure. So why now, right? Why I'm speaking about it. And this is very, very important to understand that the migration, you need to think about in three different layers, right? You need to think about the versioning that is happening. So the older tiers are running in version 6.0. And when you move to Azure Managed Redis, you are going to 7.4. So that's the first level, migrate versioning, Redis server. So on the Redis side. Second layer is networking. So, for example, there are customers that are using VNet injected, right? Or they're using public endpoints or private endpoints, and they now need to switch that over to Azure Managed Redis. So that's the second layer. Third layer is what are the changes that you may have to do internally in your application? So do you need to do some refactoring? Do you need to consider any data models that you may have to redesign, to make it better? Those are the questions that you may have to think about, right? So those are the mostly the three layers that you need to think about when doing migrations. And of course, I've heard a lot, in recent, I will say for the past 2 years now. Well, we are using Redis just as a cache, right? And absolutely, right? That will alleviate a couple of things because now you don't need to transfer the data. But the infrastructure move or just moving or creating the cluster or the instance from from ACR, creating the instance to AMR, that's the easy part, right? We're talking about de-risking the whole migration. We're talking about application logic nobody remember writing, right? There are teams that are really involved in the enterprise level, but there are other teams that, hey, they haven't touched that code for a while. They don't remember what's written, how things are working, right? There could be that the team that now is handling the application now is new and they haven't get to that part of the application. So that's one of the risks, right? Other one, engineering teams pull off roadmap for months. I've seen this, right? They need to come, they need to think about what is the actual changes and actual impact to their downstream applications. They need to do testing, right? Regression testing or on the apps. If you have, for example, thousands and hundreds of thousands of instances, going through that is gonna be painful, right? So that there is a risk there involved. And the thing is, hey, what happens if your engineering team needs to be pulled for for months, to just take care of this, right? They could be doing any other things, in your business to bring, in the roadmap that you already have established. So that's second one. Third one is role plans that never tested. Some enterprise teams, absolutely, they rock. They test everything, right, and they have a very, very structured plan. But there are others that sometimes they didn't test a few things, and that's risk that is coming into, right? So here's where I want to show you a little bit. There's a table comparing the do-it-yourself, Microsoft tooling, and what Eden provides. And let's go one by one, right? So zero downtime. If you are, it's going to be a little bit complex if you're challenging, if you're using your own scripts. With RioX, for example, you absolutely can transfer the data live, but then there's a cutover piece that you have to pretty much have to resync things, right? Once you cut over, you need to, if something happened on the or enter in the old cache, then you have to resync that data. Microsoft tooling that you have zero downtime. With Eden, it's built in, right? We are in the wire, so we do dual writes, and pretty much we maintain and consistently all that data coming in. Rollback mechanisms if something wrong happens, right? So we do it yourself. It's a manual process. With Microsoft tool, I believe there are going to be some SKUs that you can go back and roll back if something happens. We'll get a little bit deeper in the next slide. And with us, of course, you can, at any instance, any phase, you can roll back. Traffic testing, right? That's very important. We do it yourself. It's manual. With Microsoft tooling, I don't think it's supported. Maybe we can consider it as a blue-green, right? Because what's going to happen is you will have the old service, the endpoint is going to be transferred, and then so maybe it will be 0 to 100, right? So 0 to 1. We can consider it that way, but there's going to be some timing that you need to a limited timing to test once the migration is completed, right? So we'll look into it. With us, you have all whole options to do traffic testing, right? So you have blue, green, canary, and there's many more that we have included in our platform for you to feel confident that, hey, the application is responding and there's no impact there, right? Next is any application changes required. With your tooling or manual tooling, yes, you probably will have to. With Microsoft tool, there will be probably, yes, that you will have to go and do some updates in the application. With Eden, the difference is, since we're a platform, we are app aware. What it means is we pretty much talk at the protocol level, and we understand, and we have an intelligence layer that translates things over. So if your old Redis, for example, doesn't support some commands or anything, right? And we will talk through it and understand it, and then look for a way to translate that piece to the new AMR, and that way you will save that application changes. You don't have to do them. You don't have to refactor that from your side. And if we think about the whole migration process and engineering effort, if you do it yourself, absolutely, there's high engineering effort. You have to, it's about coordination between the teams and the enterprise layer. Imagine, big companies you have hundreds of teams. You have that coordination, how we're gonna make that transfer, how we're gonna test all the apps over, right? So it's high. And if it's manual, it's even more complex. With Microsoft tool, I would say, it's a little bit medium. It's handle it for you. And Pro, you can go by one, but still there is the whole coordination piece that you need to have. With us, the engineering first slow because one engineer can do it. We have, you'll see later, the layer is Atom, and we can pretty much create things and move things in parallel. We have Atom, or intelligence layer, that we allow one engineer to pretty much, run the migration and understand it and de-risk the whole process. So because of that, if you compare the timeline, it can come from months to pretty much, days in comparison. Now, one important thing is observability, and that's something that is, a lot of teams requires this. Is we do it yourself with, of course, manual scripts. There will be some limitations on observability or what's happening behind the migration. I believe with RioX, there's some exports or some observability you can do. You have to plug it in or export it. Microsoft tool, it has basic status updates. So it pretty much is going to tell you, okay, migration started, and then give you some updates on it. Eden have partnered with, one of the best, or I'll say the best observability tool that is out there is Datadog, to have full end-to-end observability. So pretty much, you will know what happens when the migration start, what is going on all the way to the end, and even after the migration is completed, because your application, pretty much Datadog is showing you what's going on, like if there is any impact, what is our application responding correctly at the level of throughput that application is running, right? So those are the kind of things that you need to think about when doing the migration. And I'm going to show you really quick the limitations, right? The tooling is excellent. I will say the product group has done a great job, putting this together. So kudos to everyone. And of course, there are some limitations that come with it. And I'm sure they're gonna be in the roadmap. There could be a couple of things that they are working on. So don't think about this as set a stone. I know absolutely there are some of them that probably will, but let's go through them, right? For example, the cutover that we're talking about, you don't have control of when cutover happens. So that's something that you can absolutely mitigate with Eden. It can help you with that because you have total control. You have a way to do that cutover. All the client applications are impacting same status. Pretty much is if you have multiple applications connected to one cluster, and they start the migration, of course, all of them are going to be impacted, right? Data sync not supported. So right now, it says that there's no data movement. So pretty much the tool is gonna orchestrate the hostname endpoint migration. So if you were coming from Azure for Redis, and there is a host name, because that's changing now with an AMR, the tool is gonna be able to move that endpoint, but it's not migrate any data. I'm sure there are probably gonna be some updates there, but probably someone from this documentation will be updated. I'm pretty sure. Right now, it says it's not supported. We have limited window for rollback. So pretty much what it's saying is that once the migration is done, you have a limited window to verify your applications are working as expected and perform any rollback if required. I'm not sure how long that is. Like pretty much what it's saying, migration is done. You have some time to test before you can do rollback. Limited window to keep both host name. So once you click migration, there gonna be some timing where the old host name is gonna go or be recycled or just decommissioned, if you think about it, right? So that's important for that. You can absolutely de-risk this with Eden. Temporary management, managed log during migration. That's pretty much while migrating, there's some managed operations that are going to be blocked because the system is doing that movement. Private endpoint not supported. So that's caches that are coming or they're using private endpoints. They're not going to be supported by this tooling. That's where I was talking about the networking piece of things, where you need to consider, right? Virtual network injectors. So in Premium, you had the options to use VNet injected at your networking. So if you need to move from VNet injected to private endpoints, this is not supported by tooling. We can help with that. Geo-replicated cache is not supported. That's another one. And not all cache configurations are copied over. So there are some configurations that were in the old service as expected, right? The new service they don't have, so they will not copy over. So those are, I would say, the limitations that you will see. And of course, it's very good to be informed so you can have the best decision when it comes to your migrations, right? There are teams at the enterprise level that have very strict requirements, and they operate in cycles and agile style, and they have to do regression testing. They have to wait to do different type of testing on the applications, and Eden will provide that. So with that, what is Eden, right? So I call it application aware infrastructure modernization. We're a platform. We're not a migration tool. Now, inside Eden, there are multiple layers, right? And I'll show you in the next slide that work together to make that modernization be easy, the risk it. So how it looks is Eden sit in the middle between the apps and the infrastructure. In that way, we have an app aware proxy, we have governance, we have a bunch of different ways to be secure, but also help you with that orchestration and modernization. And it's something that we have seen, in a long time, where these things happen. Migrations happen, versioning and services changes, and while we get into this age of AI, right, the requirements are constantly getting, you need to modernize and innovate faster and faster and faster, right? So it's difficult when you take one decision, and it has been for years that you take an initial decision and we're going to use this data infrastructure, and it takes 10 years. You use it for 10 years, 20 years, 25 years. And it's hard to innovate or move things over, right? And you have to start layering, right? So now with what our mission, our messaging is, hey, we can do it. You can do innovation faster, and not have any application, downstream impact, because we can do that translation between the infra, right? So that's what Eden is. And inside it has 3 layers. It has Exodus, and Exodus is pretty much what is in charge of doing the migration for you, zero downtime. The next layer is Eve. Is a unified API where you have the governance, observability, access policies. For example, if you're coming from Azure Redis Premium, there's no ACLs. There were ACLs, but in Azure Managed Redis, sorry. Now you have, right now, there's no ACL support. So what we can do is when we analyze the database or the service in preparation for a migration, we can save that ACL policy. And once the feature comes in, you will be able to apply that over. So that's the power that we can do for you. And of course, we have very granular access policies. So if you don't have that yet on the service, you can apply it at our layer, and that will be very secure, right? Next layer is Atom. So Atom is the natural language access to that you have to do. We have right now, we have around 30 different connections right now that you can do. And pretty much, Adam, you can ask questions about your data. It helps also Eve, right, in that intelligence layer that I was talking about. You will be able to look for things, help you with the configuration of Exodus, to do really really fast migrations. It asks, you can ask the for example at Redis, if you will be able to see if there are hot charts that are happening right there, talking to Adam, right? So it's not only for Redis. There are multiple other data infrastructure you can ask questions. So that's pretty much what Eden is. I think is as I mentioned, a way to be informed, understand what's going on, and we are here to de-risk your migrations from Azure Cache for Redis to Azure Managed Redis. Now, absolutely, you can still use the tooling for those simple cases. It's amazing, right? It simplified things for you. If you are using as a cache for those simple caches, absolutely go ahead and utilize it when you require, if you have hundreds, thousands of instances where when you have a whole team that needs to do, testing and have to have control on traffic, and do different type of testing using Canary, using blue green, and make sure that there's no downstream application impact, you should look into Eden. So that's what I wanted to talk about today. If you have any AMR migration sitting in the backlog, I will say, please contact me and my team. Book 15 minutes. Go to my profile. There's a link there to ask for a scheduled time. We are here to support you. That's pretty much it. Thank you so much for joining, for watching this. If you think it's very informative, absolutely thumbs up, share with everyone that is going right now through this process. Remember, there is a deprecation deadlines. There was one in April. There's another one in August where you're not gonna be able to create new caches. So be aware of those. It's already published in the Microsoft Azure Managed Redis blog. So be on top of it. Don't wait, because this is something is running. So the timeline is there. You're running against the timeline. Start acting now. Thank you.